Ooh, breaking should not be in the Olympics. Break dancing is what that means. And I agree with it. So let's check it out. Shout out to Lameless for the video.
The Summer Olympics of 2024 in Paris marks the Olympic debut of breaking, or breakdancing for us regular folks. And more than perhaps any new event in recent memory, this one has stirred up a ton of controversy. And you know what?
I see why. It's breakdancing. And some of y'all can argue, okay, breakdancing is like, could be compared to, I don't know, what's the gymnastics type of stuff, but it's different. I think when it comes to gymnastics, they have the judging criteria down to a pat. Breakdancing is completely freestyled. So it's different.
Be stirring up controversy, and that's because it shouldn't be in the Olympics. There, I said it. It had to be said. Let's dive into my reasons why today.
Let's do it.
It's more entertainment than sport. The Olympic Games has long been a celebration of universal human capabilities measured through equitable and transparent competition. It's been all about
a sport. You're
celebrating
racing.
athletic achievements from the very beginning. So given that, where does that leave breaking? Breakdancing certainly demands physical prowess. I'm not here to argue otherwise. It's incredibly physical and mighty difficult, no doubt about it.
Look, if they're going to put breaking in the Olympics, they might as well put fucking chess in the Olympics. Just being honest.
Often hinges on artistic expression rather than purely athletic skill. And don't get me wrong, that artistic expression is amazing. It's fascinating to watch. It requires real skill on the part of the b-boy or the b-girl. But this seriously complicates the adherence to the stated and long-established core Olympic tenets of excellence and respect through uniform sportsmanship standards. It just doesn't align with what the people at the Olympics say the Olympics are supposed to be about, full stop. As a result, integrating breaking risks transforming the games into a platform where artistic exhibition overshadows disciplined athletic achievement.
Well, I think he said it right there. It's more of an art form and entertainment than an actual sport. Basketball, what this chick is doing, pole vaulting and stuff like that, that's a sport because there's a bar. You beat that bar, then you win the points or whatever, right? So in basketball, if I get more points than you, I won. If I jump over the hurdle compared to my height weight ratio, I won. When it comes to gymnastics, like I said earlier, they have a grading criteria down to a pat. You have to hold your feet together a certain way. You got to do a certain amount of moves and stuff, and they graded you out and how your body shape. The diving, same thing about that. Splash minimum, how good the form was, how was your body, and how less of a splash that you had or whatever when you dive into the water. That's how they grade it. But when it comes to breakdancing, I mean, bro, it's first of all, who the fuck thought of putting this shit in the Olympics? Look, I live in America. For y'all over here who maybe aren't American, breakdancing is such an old ass art form. I don't know anybody my age that really does it in masses. If I see a breakdancer where I'm at, it's almost like a fucking Pokemon, like a Mewtwo. Like, oh shit, a breakdancer. Like, I haven't seen or heard about one of those in damn near forever. Like, oh shit, you know. But we got a shit ton of rappers, beat makers, I mean, graffiti artists, people that draw and shit like that. We have a shit ton of those people, but breakdancers as an element of hip hop, I hardly see any of those people doing that shit.
It becomes about entertainment and not about sport.
Yeah, entertainment.
And I know I'm sounding like an old stick in the mud here. I get it. I can hear it. And if this was my only reason to exclude this, it would be a weak argument. But there is so much more to discuss. Other dancing events have been blocked. Notice that the Olympics and the participants in the event call it breaking and not breakdancing. Don't get me wrong, they can call it whatever they want. It's their passion. But in the context of today's video, I think it's super telling and kind of gives away the whole thing. If you call it breakdancing, then you have to admit it's dancing. It's right there in the name. There's no hiding it. And as soon as you admit that it's a form of dancing, you've got a huge problem.
See, that shit's dope right there. That shit's really dope.
It comes to being included at the Olympics. And that's because over the history of the Olympics, there have been many dance-related events that have been on the radar, but ultimately failed. For example, ballroom dancing has been lobbying to be included in...
You're freaking kidding me, right? Like, ballroom dancing. Put square dancing in there. Include square dancing. Why not? Snapping. Why not include TikTok dancing in the Olympics?
But it never happened. Ski ballet was attempted as a demonstration event, but it sucked hard and it never made it to the actual
What the fuck is he? Okay.
Olympics as a medal event. Heck, they even tried water skiing as an artistic demonstration event at the 1972 Munich Olympics, but obviously it didn't work. The bottom line is that breakdancing is dancing.
Bro, water. Y'all just trying to make anything like anything, everything. Like pickleball. Who the fuck? Okay. I am a tennis player. I played tennis for many years, and I think tennis is a great sport. Pickleball, from what I've heard when I was younger, whenever pickleball was a thing, this came from some of my friends who are actually therapists, and they work with people who are, because we grew up on the Air Force base, like people who were like injured and stuff like that, older people that needed like rehabilitation. Pickleball was a form of rehabilitation for people. So they would get, groups of people together. It would help you like with your mobility. And now it's like some kind of big sport, or it had hype. I used to see stuff about it all the time on the internet. I mean, I still see stuff every once in a while, but a couple years ago, man, it was big. Like everybody was getting into it, and I've tried it out. I tried playing pickleball a few times, and it's a cool sport, but it just makes me think, like, why not just play fucking tennis? It's way faster, way more power to it. You can actually spin the ball, because the ball used in pickleball is almost like a ball using like I don't even know what you call that game with the scoop stick and you throw the thing. It's so weird. The paddle's hard wood. It's very interesting. And it just goes to show you, like, look, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to put pickleball in the Olympics for the next one. But I don't know. Everybody's trying to find any and every way to get in this shit, man.
And that's not an Olympic event. Almost nobody would consider it a good idea to have ballet or jazz or tap or any other form of dancing at the Olympics. Breakdancing may have different skills and different cultures surrounding it, but it's no better or no worse than any of these other forms of dance, and thus it shouldn't be at the Olympics. But there's more still. Let's keep going. It's super subjective.
Yeah.
Most sports and events have very simple ways of determining who wins and who loses. You touch the wall in swimming first after covering a certain distance. You cross the finish line first.
Well, see, they could say the same thing about the not ballet, gymnastics. Some of that could be kind of subjective too. When they have their freestyle dances, when they're on the flat mat, I get it. But in gymnastics, once again, they have an established criteria on how they judge things. They have to do a certain amount of moves, stuff like that, a certain amount of leg length. Their feet have to be together when they do certain types of styles. And their routine, and don't quote me on this, but I believe their whole entire routine is actually submitted to the judges before they do it. So they know exactly what they're doing. When it comes to breakdancing, if you guys haven't seen it on the Olympics, all of that shit looked freestyled. Now, they may have planned, like, okay, I may do like a, what's it called? The flares. I may do a flare here. I may do a backflip here. But for the most part, they give you like 3 minutes or something, whatever amount of time they had, and they just go. The Rachel Gunn chick, who is a meme, and God bless her soul, because she seems like a nice lady. In another video, we did a review of her history and all that. Very nice lady. She's actually a breakdancing teacher. Crazy, right? But the whole competition for the breakdancing just seemed like they just got out there and just freestyled the shit. And the gymnastics part, it's not like that. They know what they're doing. So this is why it's completely, like you said, it's super subjective. And I don't think it should be in the Olympics either, brother.
Running after covering a certain distance. You win a match against the other team in basketball or table tennis or badminton or handball, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea.
Yeah.
But how do you evaluate success in breaking?
That's what I'm saying.
The Olympics, in my opinion, already has an issue with judged events. I'm not saying they shouldn't have any judged events, though many will make that argument, but it introduces this layer of subjectivity, which can be tough for folks to stomach, and it can lead to controversy or bribery, as it's happened before. But it's also an issue for the spectator, who generally will lack the expertise to know the specific details of what makes some performances better than others.
Well, the judges on all the for the whole panel. They all look like hip hop people, especially all their fucking names and shit. I'd never heard of none of them, and it was funny because I mean, were there any American judges on there? Because hip hop did originate from the last time I checked. Hip hop got established in New York, and which is in America. So pretty much all of them judges should have been like Ice Cube and people like that. I don't know who none of these people were on that panel,
Again,
bro.
this doesn't disqualify an event automatically. That's not what I'm saying, but it makes it tougher. And when it comes to breakdancing, it's actually even worse. Per the Olympics themselves, the performances will be evaluated on 6 criteria: creativity, personality, technique, variety, performativity, and musicality.
Some of them sound like the same. Oh, go back what he said. They're going to be judged on what again?
This is better than others. Again, this doesn't disqualify an event automatically. That's not what I'm saying, but it makes it tougher. And when it comes to breakdancing, it's actually even worse.
Right.
Per the Olympics themselves, the performances will be evaluated on 6 criteria: creativity, personality, technique, variety, performativity, and musicality.
Performativity, creativity, some of that shit sounds like the same thing. Like, what?
In breakdancing, and even the performers themselves would have a hard time defining all of these. So how do judges hand out medals for that?
Yeah.
Like if you ask 10 participants about these 6 criteria, you'll probably get 10 different answers. And isn't that a huge problem? It opens up so many more questions than it answers. And if the folks in the event can't agree on a set of standards, I don't see how this can be in the Olympics. Now, in fairness, there are other sports and events that are subjective, and to a large degree, those issues have been resolved, or at least managed within the confines of what they're willing to accept.
Okay.
But breakdancing seems to be a distance away from that at this point. So until that's...
Yeah, it's not... Nobody even understands this shit. And I'm not saying nobody, because obviously you're looking at a video with a room full of people, but based on like population-wise, this is just a sample of the amount of people that are involved in this shit. Again, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm in my 30s. I don't know anybody around the way that breakdances. There's 5 elements of hip hop. It's graffiti, beatboxing, breakdancing or b-boying, rapping, and what's the last one? Hold on. Graffiti, breakdancing, b-boying, rapping, beatboxing, breakdancing, and I believe it's style. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it's like fashion and style. Anyways, when it comes to breakdancing, I know everybody does everything else. I know people that do paintings. I know people that dress a certain way, all that stuff. I know people that rap. There's tons of people that produce, which I think production is the new beatboxing. But I don't know any fucking breakdancers. I could find you a shit ton of rappers. I don't know any breakdancers.
It's difficult to include this one in the Olympics. It
Yeah.
goes against the spirit of breakdancing. Okay, I want to be careful here. I want to be clear. I'm no expert breakdancer, so I'm including this as an observer of commentary from more experienced and educated folks in the space. But the argument makes so much sense that it's worth including and discussing here. Many performers have outlined the logical point that by creating a set of standards and judging criteria, even if those judging criteria are tough to define like we talked about, you are now forcing the performers into checking certain boxes in order to win a medal.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be like that. I don't think breakdancing, look, I'll stand on this. I don't think this should be a sport.
You are now forcing the performers into checking certain boxes in order to win a medal.
Yeah.
And this makes absolutely no sense for something like breakdancing, which has been built and developed and evolved around freedom of expression, around trying new and different things.
They weren't doing none of this shit in the Olympics, by the way. They weren't doing none of, like, all these little clips you're seeing on this guy's video, they weren't doing some of the flares and stuff like that, but all that group stuff, all the actual entertaining shit, they weren't doing none of that. Like that, they weren't doing none of that.
To your performance. How do you do
I'd
that
pay
in
to
the
see
Olympics
that
and align with that spirit of breakdancing? As soon as you tell performers that they have to fit into some mold, you are literally saying...
That's one move that a lot of the breakdancers in the Olympics, they were actually athletic. They were all doing this shit, which I think you call this like a flare or something. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you call it, as a flare.
Polar opposite of what breakdancing represents. And you don't have this to the same degree in other events.
What the fuck is that?
Events. So it feels like a massive compromise for the breakdancing community. There are better ways to bring in younger viewers. So the International Olympic Committee has made no secret of the fact that breakdancing was brought to the Olympics in order to try and draw in younger viewers. And
Younger
look,
viewers,
I totally
bro.
get
Look,
that.
like I said, I don't know any kids that do this shit. This is such a small population. I know y'all look at these videos, these views, they get millions and millions of views. How many people do you know in your area that breakdance? Like, again, I could find you a shit ton of rappers. I could find you a crap load of producers. I don't know a lot of people that do breakdancing, man.
That's just logical.
It's such
for
a
the IOC
niche
to
thing.
want to
At
attract
least people that breakdance do it very well. It's so niche.
each subsequent generation to
They're
the
like
Olympic
fucking like hidden somewhere under a closet, bro. I mean, they're there, but it's like there's not a lot of people that do this
no matter
shit.
what folks say, this is a business, full stop. But first off, the IOC bringing in breakdancing feels a bit
That looks
like your
cool,
awkward
man.
parents hanging around your friend and trying to sound cool, which is just strange on its own. But second, they actually had way better options than breakdancing if that was their goal. There is something called the Youth Olympic Games, which are held every 4 years, and it's a great proving ground for what works and doesn't work for younger generations.
That's what they should have had breakdancing in the youth games. If they have a youth thing, whatever, they should have had it at that.
It's only been around since 2010, but it's off to a great start, and it's fascinating. Breaking was included at these games for only 1 year in 2018 before being promoted to the full Olympics.
They did have it.
To me, that seems like a really short evaluation period, but hey, what do I know? But even at those Youth Olympic Games, there were way better options, in my opinion, for promotion to the Olympics to appeal to younger people. 3-on-3 basketballs there, BMX cycling, futsal, beach handball, inline speed skating. These are just some of the unique events they have or have
Bro,
had
even a
at the Youth
3-on-3 basketball, I think that shit is kind of
that aren't in the
Whatever.
full Olympics. And I think pretty much any of those auctions, or others even, would have been more popular amongst the youth, and they'd also hold way greater spectator value for the larger population. And even more than that,
That's
most or all of
cool.
those events don't have
there were some people doing that in the Olympics. A lot of them were not. So when you see these clips and you see what they're doing on here, and you watch the Olympics I had it on Peacock, which is an app you can watch the Olympics on. But anyway, a lot of them weren't doing that. This is entertaining. The clips alone look better than the entire Olympic performance. From the guys and the girls, these clips alone are doing justice. Whoever the fuck they got to represent whatever, it was not as entertaining. And again, look, he mentioned the Youth Olympics. They should have just kept it in the Youth Olympics. It's so weird, man.
other issues.
And it puts a
we've been
bad light on breakdancing because of the Rachel Gunn chick and all the memes and stuff like that, because breakdancing and hip-hop in general is already an art form that's on life support. Nobody gives a fuck about really pursuing this shit hardcore. That's why if you see breakdancing, it's always going to be the same group of top breakdancers. Forever. But I can always find you new hot rappers that really can bring you those bars. As far as breakdancing, everybody ain't doing this shit.
discussing today. Most aren't judged events, so that's not an issue. Most don't have
Like,
to
people are
compromise
dancing, but no, they ain't.
culture of the sport. So
Doing
that's
the
not an
Chris
issue.
Brown shit.
So all
You know
this
what I
just
mean?
feels like a huge swing and a miss by the IOC to include breaking over one of the other far better options. Well, there you have it. And in conclusion, I know this is a controversial topic, to be sure.
Yeah.
And while I've drawn my line in the sand, I'm super curious as to what your thoughts are on breaking in the Olympics. So please let me
Yeah.
know your thoughts in the comments below. If I missed any points you think should have been included, put them there. If you have a counter argument as to why it should be in the Olympics, let's hear it. Looking forward to talking more soon.
Okay, that was a great video, man. I like that. Shouts to Lame List. Breakdancing, in my opinion, I don't think it should be in the Olympics. Again, I'm going to say this over and over. I just don't think it should be in the Olympics based off a lot of the things they said in this video. I really agree on. And it's so subjective. It's not supposed to be a judged art form. I mean, there's breakdancing competitions and all that, but the judges are the people. You have people like, you do like a cool move. Oh, they go off of that. It's not like, oh, you have to do a flare on the left hand and do this. That's not how it's supposed to be. I feel like the Olympics, this past Olympics, they said it may have been one of the worst Olympics. Not even just because of some of the competitions and some of the memes that got developed in the very obscure moments, but Also surrounding the, things with the opening ceremony, closing ceremony. It was just kind of a shit show. So yeah, man, it's just crazy. Y'all could check out the comments on this video. Shout outs to Lame List for the video. Yeah, man, this was really good. I'm gonna give you a thumbs up. This was good. Breakdancing should not be in the Olympics.